The Clarity rally starts now. Today we're going to break it down for you. A lot of breaking news. We'll get right into it. I do want to thank our partner, and that is BTCC, where you guys can get out there and actually make some trades in this market that is beginning to move. And you get a 10% first-time deposit bonus. Very easy to set up. Just use our link down below. Get some additional bonuses too. There's some discounts on your trades, all sorts of benefits by just using the link that we'll put down there. Let's break into this first tweet here by Eleanor, doing a great job on covering this. Per Politico, Tom Tillis basically saying that they are not going to release out the copy. They don't want to do it too early because they didn't want any landmines. So they're trying to get this into the markup stage. So the point is that this looks like there is a done deal on Clarity. And when you look at the pictures that I saw on Brad Garlinghouse's tweet, I had to wait a minute to make sure that this didn't get community noted for AI. And that, of course, is Haggerty right there. You can kind of see this, guys. This is crazy to see right there. Tim Scott, Patrick Witt, Bernie Moreno. I mean, these are the guys who are making the decisions right now on Clarity. And, of course, what Brad stated was something very, very straightforward. It's been a fight worth it after a day in D.C., great conversations. But this is the big one. The Clarity Act window is open. So is the Strait of Hormuz, and he approves this message. So that's a big deal. And I want to go into that and play a clip for you guys, because this clip will go into whether or not Coinbase conceded and did the banks win. Take a look.
I can understand the banks being upset with Coinbase and other companies because they were forced to accept this, I think. I mean, initially, many of the banks were saying, well, no, we're going to get there, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, look, I mean, really interestingly, we have actually partnership with some of the biggest banks around the world, including the biggest U.S. banks, because they understand the future is tokenization and stablecoins. They're looking for a partner to build with. We're excited to be the partner of the biggest banks, but the Beltway is a funny place, Maria, as you know. There's a kind of an ecosystem of people who spend all their time fighting over things in Congress.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a disconnect with what we see in D.C. and what we see with their business folks.
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to resolve that. The banks are critical as a part of this future, on-chain future. I think there's a lot of opportunities for them.
Right.
We want to help them get there, and I think we're excited about that.
So right now, you can pay, the legislation as you know it will be that, yeah, you can pay rewards if you're part of a membership program. Real quick, explain where you're expecting Clarity to land.
So the law of the land is if a customer has a balance on our account, we can pay them a reward. The banks have got really concerned about this. They said, no, there has to be some activity before you qualify for the reward. We've conceded that point. It's just a matter of how what the fine print looks like, and I think we'll get there.
All right, so he said that they had conceded that point of paying rewards, but the fine print is still yet to come. Now, does that mean it's that kind of passive versus active scenario? We'll see, because this is getting ready to come down the pipe very quickly. Patrick Witt also says this, Democrats, in case you don't know Patrick Witt, this is basically the guy head of digital assets for the White House. Democrats say that we moved on from their war on crypto. Man, I don't know. Soon we'll find out if they really mean it, and I'm assuming that means we're going to see some votes in there for the sake of America's financial future. Let's hope so. I have to see it. You guys have to prove this to me that that's going to happen before I say we're all in. However, if you follow what some of the people in Congress are doing, you've got Representative Sherry Biggs now just filed a purchase of $250,000 in Bitcoin. So watch what they do, not what they say. Further into that, you've got this right here, which is where we are going to see more activity with Iran in these deals. This essentially is the U.S. considering a $20 billion cash for uranium agreement, which is basically unlocking an account that they had, Iranian money, to try to get the situation with their nuclear material away from Iran. All of this is still good news. Kobe also plays out the conflict playbook, and this is one that, if you guys haven't followed it, go to this post right here. You can see it. It's the one on March 3rd. And it breaks down the 10-step guide of what has been happening around the White House. And the 10th and final step is really built into the victory lap and the repricing, violent repricing of the market. We've already seen this in oil plunging, and now, of course, the market hitting an all-time high and exceeding. Some people are now targeting 7,300 for the S&P 500. So a pretty big deal going forward. Other things that are happening, you've got Mohammed al-Arain saying everything's going to be fine. The statement by the president regarding the Middle East war is a prime example of effective verbal intervention. And this is, to me, is unique in the sense that we have a lot of the mainstream media now starting to line up with where this current situation is within the Iranian scenario. The strait is now fully open, according to at least through this particular ceasefire. I'm assuming that's going to get negotiated further into it. And I think now we're probably going to start seeing other deals being made in the region, which will, of course, alleviate a lot of the pressure in the markets. And it's already playing out, of course, right now. Iran officially reopens the strait. There you have it. Their statement in the line with the ceasefire. And in Lebanon, of course, was told to, or I should say Israel was told to, by the U.S., absolutely stop all the bombing in Lebanon. That, of course, got this to the table, and things are moving forward. Investors are about to catch the biggest case of amnesia ever. They would go full risk on. This is coming from Anthony Pompliano. And forget Iran, where Iran is on a map. Do you guys think that? Let me know in the comments. If you think, nope, everybody's risk on, this is where we are, we were waiting for this. The only last component that moves at least the crypto market is going to be clarity. Let me know down below. And here we go. This is a big deal right there that shows you the amount of activity in the market right there. And you've got the S&P 500 up again, adding another 430 billion. NASDAQ hitting another 180 billion. Dow is up 1.2, 120. And you've got oil crashing down to $81. That's 12% in a single session down. So big news there for financial markets, guys. Also, Bitcoin hitting 78K, but it's up 18,000 from the February 6th bottom, 13,000 from the March 31st bottom. That was 17 days ago. So look at that and kind of press back a little bit on where we are in this market. CNBC on the U.S. stock market this week has completed one of its fastest turnarounds in 36 years. This is unbelievable to see this kind of speed. I think the last one we saw was 1980s, and this is unbelievable. Now, the real question is going to be, can this sustain, or will it potentially see another downturn? I want to play a clip for you. Take a look.
I know this is going to sound counter to what the viewers might think, but I think the stock market is in a better position today than earlier this year when it made its all-time high. So I think stocks can go back to that 7,300, which is our base case for this year in our three-phase market, before we might see a larger drawdown. That's right. This is the seventh black swan now thrown on investors since 2020. And now we've seen that the U.S. can handle a Middle East catastrophe, one where the strait is closed and oil's not available. The U.S. economy is still operating while other countries are talking about shutdowns and factories closing.
So when you guys caught that right there, what Tom Lee was saying is their base case, a third tier base case to 7,300 before you see a larger drawdown. So what kind of things, and even though he also makes a statement on there that we've seen so many black swans, including a major Middle East crisis, what would be the cause of a drawdown? What could possibly be in the wings for that if that is going to be the case? Okay, so I wanted to go to the chart here to kind of compare what Tom Lee is talking about. If it does go to the 7,300, his third tier base case for the S&P 500, and they get a drawdown back to where we were, this would be a drawdown of about 13%. That would be a significant drop and would have some effect on some markets. So just keep that in mind based on what he was saying there. Understand that. If you look at what risk appetite is doing right here, institutional investors now is skyrocketing, and they're purchasing 22% more call options than puts. So this is a big deal. You can see the chart right there, institutional options right now starting to grow. By comparison, during the April 2025 market recovery, the average was surpassed 25%. So they're piling in, very similarly to what they did back then. Last thing I want to hit on right here is Nate. He hits on this. Nate Garassi. You guys should follow Nate over on Twitter. He does a really good job with kind of tracking the markets. He's mostly been on ETFs, but he does a good job on breaking this down. These are the headlines talking about Goldman Sachs launching ETFs, Morgan Stanley, Charles Schwab. Even though Schwab, I will say this, they have not launched crypto trading yet. They've only made it available to inside the company. I think they might be a little bit late on this. They could pick up later in the year, but Schwab, as usual, rolls out a little bit late. But the fact that they are here, yes. New York Stock Exchange also all in on crypto. I want to go to one more clip. This is coming in from Gareth, talking about this market as it is and what to get ready for. Take a look.
This was that former high right there. We tagged it a couple days ago right there. We're now pushing through. This should trigger a continued move up if it can hold today to this 80-ish thousand level, okay? And that's good for the altcoins as well. If we look at the Ethereum chart, ETH is starting to push up. Look at this nice little bull flag formation on ETH. ETH has an upside target of around 2,600, maybe even a little bit higher than that. This is your upside target on ETH. So again, if you look at what assets really haven't participated over the last few months in any sort of rally, it's kind of crypto. It's almost due. And the sentiment is so bearish in crypto that it's bullish. I know that sounds weird to say, but when everyone is lopsided, think about it, everyone's lopsided on this side, it has no other way to go but go back to this side. And that's the psychology of investing. So I continue to like crypto here, folks. Now, listen, I still think it's going lower later this year, just like I think the stock market will eventually peter out and come down and take out the recent lows that we just saw 2 weeks ago, right? That seem to be far away now. But in the near term, I'm still bullish there.
We got to get Gareth back on the show to talk about that, because I think this is an intriguing angle of it's so bearish, it's actually a bullish signal going forward. Other things that are signals, I actually have one more clip here. This is Raoul Pal talking about where the entire financial system is heading. Take a look.
I found it hilarious what a year and a half, 2 years ago, people were like, ETH is dead. I'm like, no, the entire banking system will go to ETH. I know how banks work, right? The moment I left the financial system, I've used nothing but Apple. But when you're in a bank, every single computer is Microsoft. Because it's really for them about Lindy effects, things that survive, things that you don't get fired for, things that are proven, because nobody wants to lose their jobs over new technology.
And I had to learn this. And I actually had no idea until I talked to the banks. I was like, oh, I found a customer of decentralization. They just don't know it. They care about uptime. They care about resilience. They care about the thing that's been around for the longest. They care about the thing that no one can turn off. You just have to translate the language to them. And yeah, the no one gets fired for picking Microsoft is very real, and it's in Ethereum's favor.
Yeah, that's right. And also just the fact that there's so many developers, because if not, it's hard.
All right, well, Raoul, you and I are on the same page. Ethereum had its busiest quarter in history, processing 200 million transactions in Q1. This is going to get dwarfed. By end of year, you are going to see this at an unbelievable number in terms of overall transactions. I agree with Raoul. I think it's going to be just a matter. Right now, everybody's pointing at Bitcoin hitting 80K first. ETH is lagging at about 23. And I think maybe they might be right on this one. Bitcoin probably will get 80K first. So we'll see how it goes in the markets down below. It's going to be a big week next. With Clarity News, I anticipate this could start to trigger things. Of course, we always have to be cautious about what's going on in Iran as well, but we're going to continue to cover that, so stay tuned. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, and also join our free private member group. The link is in the description.